Here's a secret tip for you. I've been to Boracay for 1 month now. I really love it here. It's so beautiful. So I'm making this video to show you what Boracay is like in 2024. So I guess this is a sort of Boracay appreciation video. So enjoy it. So here's my first impression of Boracay. I am blown away. I've been fortunate to travel all around the world and seen a lot of amazing beaches, but this one is perfect. I'll tell you why later. Later in this video, I'm gonna give you a secret tip on where you can find the absolutely best beaches in Boracay. Every place I go to has some pros and some cons, and the number one complaint that people have with Boracay is that it's a lot of tourists there. But I'll tell you why that's not necessarily a problem, and also why it could actually be a good thing. So let's talk about the tourism. Yes, there are a lot of tourists in Boracay. However, the main beach there, it's called White Beach. It's huge, really, really long and very, very wide. So space for tons and tons of people there. However, if you do think that there's too many tourists in White Beach, the simple trick is just to go to the north side of White Beach, around Discovery Resort, where you'll see a lot of people playing volleyball. And that side of White Beach, even at sunset, it's not that many tourists there, so you'll get to have the beach more for yourself. If you want to get away from the tourists in White Beach, here's a secret tip for you. There's 3 other beaches in Boracay with very few tourists, so let's go over them. The first one is called Bulabog Beach, or the way the locals call it, the Back Beach. It's literally just a few minutes walking from White Beach, literally just on the other side of the island there. Fantastic, more of a local vibe. Number 2 is Puka Beach in the north. Also a much more of a local beach, very few people, pristine white sand, turquoise waters, absolutely beautiful. Number 3 is New Coast Beach. Also not very well known, but very beautiful and very few people there. And here's a bonus tip for you. There's one more beach that's absolutely fantastic in Boracay. It's right north of White Beach, and it's called Dinnyweed Beach. And in that beach, it's super cozy. And at sunset, it is just the most cozy place to be at in Boracay. So let's talk about why the tourism is a good thing in Boracay. Well, in the daytime, of course, you got the beach, a lot of activities. But in the evenings, if you want to go out, go to a restaurant, maybe like get a drink at some of the bars, it's kind of cool that there's a lot of tourists there, because every night when you go out, you're going to meet new people. So it kind of turns it into a bit more of a social experience. By the way, my name is Ray K. I'm a Norwegian retired director and photographer. I've shot a lot of music videos. These days I'm mostly traveling and come across a lot of interesting places and interesting people. So I'd be really happy if you wanted to come along. Hit subscribe and like, and I'll be really happy. Thank you. So why is Boracay the perfect beach? Let me explain. I've traveled around the world and I've seen a lot of beaches, and there's usually one or two problems with a lot of beaches, but not in Boracay. Let me walk you through it. First of all, there's a perfect line of palm trees on the beach in Boracay, and a beautiful, clean beach, of course. But then when you get into the water, the temperature in Boracay is just perfect. Not every beach has a perfect temperature. Some of them are kind of cold, in my opinion. Then when you're into the actual water, a lot of beaches, there's two big waves. You can't really be swimming around Boracay, perfect waves. Then, if you're like getting a few meters into the water, there's some rocks and you can't really be like playing around Boracay. There's perfect sand for like 200 meters out there. Some beaches also has a problem with that, after a few meters, it drops very drastically down and it gets just too deep. Or it's just like, let's say half a meter of water for like 100 meters out there, so you have to go really, really far before you can really like drop down and go swimming. Boracay, just a perfect elevation for, let's say 100, 200 meters down there, where it's just like slowly gets deeper and deeper. It's just perfect for swimming. And almost every evening, there's a perfect, beautiful, colorful sunset there. And one last thing, the colors of the ocean are actually turquoise there. It just looks super tropical and exotic. I lived in one of the most famous beaches in the world for over 7 years. That's Miami Beach. And I gotta tell you, Boracay is a much better beach. Sorry, Miami, but Boracay is just a perfect beach. And here's one thing that's missing in Miami and a lot of other beach towns around the world, that they got it right in Boracay. When you're on the beach and you want to go to like a restaurant or a cafe or a bar, usually in a lot of other beach towns around the world, you have to sort of like cross the road, maybe go a block away before you find those type of establishments. But in Boracay, along the actual beach there's tons of cafes, restaurants, bars. So when you're sitting there eating or maybe like having a drink, your feet are on the actual sand, on the beach. It's just so cozy. All right, I'm heading home. Hope you enjoyed that little trip around Boracay, and don't forget to subscribe and like.